Hi, yeah, no, thank you, thank you. It's great to meet you. So do we just start? Okay, great. Do you want me to look at the camera or at you? I'm not really used to being on this side of the camera. We'll see how it goes. Hi, I'm Michael Mason. You might know me from films such as Daphne or Thoughts I Never Sent, and this is my interview. What is life lived if there's not something to record it? With a camera, you capture things and make them real. Create this reality that is often more real than what we perceive to be reality. I mean, it's hard to define yourself so simply, like succinctly. I'm really interested in the self and kind of perspective of film. And yeah, no, I'm really excited to be here and show off some of my work. Marriage is between a man and a woman. So the first movie we're going to talk about is Teaching a Plant Religion. I think people got what I was going for, partially maybe because I had to explain beforehand. This was for foundations in film production, and in that class we would always explain the movies before we showed them, which I really didn't like. I felt like it kind of ruined the interpretation. It was meant to be disturbing, but also kind of lighthearted because it's so ridiculous. Again, replicating the church-going experience that I had gone through, while also making it absurd. I love Coke. So the second video we're going to talk about is I Love Coke. So this was a collaborative piece, maybe to my chagrin. We all had totally different ideas of how it should be edited. We discussed originally that everything above my nose would be cut off to kind of dehumanize me and really sell that it was an advertisement, kind of like the Coke ads. And in the editing booth, everyone else decided that actually they thought it was funny to not do that and to leave my eyes in. It's just, it makes it even more bizarre. I don't like it as much. I think it was better when it was cut off. I think it was kind of a first step for me in what I would later explore of kind of collaborative filmmaking, but also kind of teaching me that maybe it didn't have to be collaborative. I mean, Fresh, it was interesting. I don't think people understood exactly what I was going for with that one. The idea behind it was that it was freshman year, but then I was using the imagery of an apple to kind of explore the idea of this fresh fruit and how it becomes rotten over time. It's really an exploration of loneliness and the ways in which loneliness can manifest. An important lesson I learned from it was sometimes you need to maybe alter the truth.
See, there, you did it again. Did you listen to a word I just said? Yes, I did. You're upset.
Okay, postmodern sunset. I mean, what is there to say about postmodern sunset that hasn't already been said? I mean, everyone knows the story already, but this is the first video that I submitted to film festival, and I got the Huntsman Award for it. I have to, give it credit for the fame it gave me today, but sometimes I wonder if it's worth it, if that's all I'm ever known for. Really, there's so many issues with it, and the editing's bad, the pacing's bad. This really should be a 3-hour piece, but I'm trying to cram it into 3 minutes and it just doesn't work. It acts like they're saying something, but it's not. It's trying to be funny, but the jokes are just immature. And I'd say the main value it provides anymore to filmmakers is what not to do. It's embarrassing, honestly. I mean, if you want to talk about pathetic, talk about Thoughts I Never Sent. Critics, I think, rightly pointed out that it is really living in the shadow of Fresh. This is, at its heart, a piece about loneliness, about disconnection, about, not really understanding each other. It's about miscommunication. Nobody understood what it was actually trying to say, and they said they loved it anyway. I mean, I've seen a lot of interpretations about this movie that are just wrong. I really think that this was a creative low, which maybe explains why it was a commercial high for me. It's just not worth it to sell out like that. It's pathetic. It's really pathetic, if we're being honest. I do have to say that Daphne is definitely my least understood work. You watch the first 2 minutes, and you'll notice that there are no direct shots of trees. Everything has this kind of barrier between it. It's reflections of trees through the puddle, or it's the shadow of trees. It's never actually trees. It was a very intentional movement to kind of try to tell people, hey, it's not just about trees. The story of Daphne is really crucial to this piece because this piece kind of imitates that. So you have these layers of meaning. The trees are Daphne, and if the trees are Daphne, then when they're being chopped down, it's not just about trees getting chopped down. I would say that this is really a feminist piece more than anything. it's about meaning. I would say it's about religion. I would say it's about environmentalism. I'd also say it's about loneliness. People just didn't get it. It was a total flop. And everyone just said it's just, you know, it's a 3-minute video about trees. Untitled 1, again, it was just a trilogy of pieces that really weren't understood very well. Big and Small, I would say, is the best of the trilogy and really shows the ways that movement kind of correlate with human nature. I would say kind of there's this porousness. It's really, I mean, it's really a piece about loneliness when you think about it. These textures evoke loneliness. I would say that it's really a, sorry, one second. You know, I'd say it's really a feminist piece. I mean, Untitled 2, the Digital Self Project, really emphasizes on making sounds out of my own retching noises. And some people were uncomfortable with that. Some people found it uncomfortable to listen to me gagging by eating a Doritos cereal. But I think that it really says a lot about me. I think it says a lot about society, really. I would say that this is really, I mean, when it comes down to it, a piece about resistance, about, you know, fighting back, and I'd say about loneliness. I think it's really about the kind of the solitude of dealing with that. I mean, Untitled 3, it's an interesting one. A lot of people thought that the washed out nature of it was a mistake or maybe a flaw with it. I think that's what makes it beautiful. You know, this was inspired by Brian Eno pretty heavily, and kind of the idea of accepting mistakes and kind of challenging what mistakes mean as a filmmaker. And so what I really wanted to do was make it look really terrible. That it really led to this kind of washed out image that audiences really didn't connect with. I would say that New Poetry is when I really started to find my ground again. It was entirely made of found footage, which I would incorporate into later pieces as well. It was kind of the exploration of what can you do with the power of editing. And it's really highbrow humor here. Not everybody's gonna understand it, but I think that's beautiful. It's really using essential classics in the film canon to create its own message, and I think that's incredible. I think that it's really slept on. In the Bathroom was a really pivotal moment for me. With this film, I was trying to really explore, you know, filming in places you weren't supposed to film, and kind of seeing things that you weren't supposed to see. And so what I did is I took this camera and I started just going to bathrooms and just filming them. I think it's really an important movement. I'd say Invisible Dance is an iteration on In the Bathroom. Oftentimes with video, there are these questions of, you know, making sure that the audience can see and really letting them hear or maybe understand what's going on. And I become disillusioned with that idea. And so you don't get to see this, actually. You don't get to hear what I'm dancing to. You don't get to know what I'm doing. I get a lot of shit for key work on the Gobs. There's this idea that it's not Oscar award worthy to have a TikTok video, and I just disagree with that. The basic idea was that, you know, we'd have this sitcom for a TikTok, and it would be about a family of goblins, and I thought that that was really emotional, and I thought that that was something that a lot of people could connect with. If we're being honest, it's really a movie about loneliness. Hi, I'm Michael Mason. You might know me from films such as Daphne, or, I mean, film number 11. I mean, it's not out yet. We're currently in the filming stages of my 11th film, and it's honestly going to be my last film. I've decided already that this is going to be the last one we ever do. And, I mean, at times I wonder if that is really right, if I really should be ending everything like this. I don't think, my sense is that there isn't a place for me in the film industry. You know, with the next steps in life, I really don't know what I'm going to do. And I feel like that there's no better place to end than kind of this retrospective. It's kind of meant to be a more meta film. You know, at some level it's a parody, but in other ways it's real. Even myself, I'm not quite sure when it's a joke and when it's not. You know, it might not be my best work. I'm hoping it is, but, you don't know yet. You don't know until it's over. I'd like to do more in the future if I can. I just, I don't, I don't think it's gonna happen. If I'm being honest, I think this is gonna be the last one I ever do, and that's hard. But you can't always get what you want. Things don't always work out, and you have to be okay with that. You have to, and everyone asks me, what's next for you? What are you gonna do next? And I just don't know. I'm scared. And really, it's a film about loneliness.